In 1325, two cities declared war. Hundreds of soldiers died. And the entire reason was a wooden bucket. Not gold. Not land. Not a king. A plain, ordinary bucket stolen from a well. The city that stole it won the war. The bucket was never returned. It sits in a museum in Italy today. Stay till the end. Because this bucket explains every argument you have ever lost in your life. Medieval Italy was not one country. It was dozens of powerful city-states, each one its own mini-empire. These cities did not just compete. They hated each other. Deeply. Personally. Two cities stood at the center of this story, Modena and Bologna. Just 35 miles apart. Bitter enemies. All of Italy was split into two political factions, Guelphs supporting the Pope, Ghibellines supporting the Emperor. Bologna was Guelph. Modena was Ghibelline. They were not just rivals. They were ideological enemies. Decades of tension were building. The powder keg was full. It just needed one spark. In 1325, a group of Modenese soldiers crossed into Bologna's territory, uninvited. They found a public well. Attached to it was a wooden bucket. They took it and walked home. Back in Modena, the bucket was paraded around like a war trophy. People laughed. Bologna did not. Bologna sent a formal message: return the bucket immediately. Modena's response: no. Second message: no. Third message: no. Fourth: still no. Each refusal was a public humiliation. Bologna had enough. They mobilized 30,000 soldiers, over one stolen bucket. Modena looked at 30,000 enemy soldiers. Then counted their own, 7,000. Modena did not retreat. They sent their 7,000 out to face 30,000 anyway. November 15, 1325, the Battle of Zappolino. It lasted less than 2 hours. Modena's 7,000 defeated Bologna's 30,000. Completely. The larger army broke and ran. How? Modena soldiers were fighting for pride. Bologna soldiers were following orders. Motivation beats numbers. Always. Bologna went home, hundreds of soldiers dead, reputation destroyed, pride shattered. A peace treaty was signed. Bologna agreed to everything, except one last request: return the bucket. Modena signed everything else. Every single term. Except that. The bucket stayed. Forever. The bucket still sits in Modena today, in a tower, preserved, displayed. 700 years later. Nobody actually cared about the bucket. The bucket was never the point. The bucket was the trigger. Decades of rivalry was the cause. These are not the same thing. Every major conflict follows this pattern. Something tiny happens. Everything explodes. The tiny thing gets all the blame. The Trojan War was not about Helen. World War I was not about Franz Ferdinand. The argument about the dishes. About being 5 minutes late. These are all buckets. The argument is never really about what the argument seems to be about. Ever. Bologna never asked, what is this really about? They just sent the army. And lost everything. Modena understood. The bucket was not about the bucket. It was about power. They played the game correctly. The war lasted one day. The resentment lasted centuries. The bucket is still there. Before you send the army, ask yourself one question. Is this actually about the bucket? Because the bucket is never worth 30,000 soldiers.